Should I, M20, apologize to childhood friend, F19, after ghosting her for years? Basically, throughout all of elementary and middle school, I was very good friends with this girl. At some point I realized I developed feelings for her and soon after had heard from a couple of people that she also liked me. A little while after that, one night while out of state for Thanksgiving, I texted her telling her I liked her and she was very happy and reciprocated. We ended up texting for a while and then I went to sleep. I still remember how nervous/excited I was when I was sending the reply and waiting for her to open it. One thing about me is I legitimately hate texting and especially Snapchat texting. I hate the read receipts, I hate the notification when I start typing, I hate seeing their bitmoji waiting in the corner, I hate everything about it. I always overthink my replies and generally it just stresses me out. Even for iMessage I pretty much limit myself to only receiving or sending information that doesn't really necessitate a phone call. A while later I made an offhand comment to one of my friends who was dating one of this girl's best friends. The comment was essentially, I regret telling this girl I like her, she texts me so much and it's really annoying. My friend ended up telling this to his girlfriend who told the girl, and when I got home I got a text from her asking if this was true. One of worst traits is that I'm horrible at dealing with confrontation and interpersonal conflicts. My whole family is like this, and honestly when I got this text I just kinda shut down. I didn't know how to respond and so I didn't. Looking back I think I was embarrassed and kind of ashamed she had found out I said that when it's not entirely what I meant, so I just ended up never responding. Over the couple months she would very regularly send long texts apologizing and just asking me to talk to her. I still had classes where I would sit next to her and very near her, but I would just ignore her. I couldn't even look at her because I was so ashamed about ignoring her, which just made me ignore her more. The texts she would send me most of the time I wouldn't even read, but I would sometimes pass my phone to my group of friends to read them. I know this was an extremely shitty thing to do. Eventually she stopped texting me and obviously our friendship was completely over. I don't know if it's related, but the timeline makes it hard for me to believe it isn't around this time I started getting bad social anxiety, was self-conscious, and looking back I think I was pretty depressed through most of high school, still into college, but I've never been to like a therapist or doctor about it, so and if it wasn't for the pretty big friend group I already had I probably wouldn't have talked to anyone in high school. Outside of this friend group I just didn't engage with other people. Also after I ghosted this girl, a few of her friends, who I was also friends with, one was the girl who told her in the first place, and had also been one of my best friends since kindergarten, asked me out and I turned them down. This pretty much marked the end of serious female friendships in my life. I think it also really altered the way I view relationships as a whole, as I just saw them as unwanted stress in my life, so while there were one or two girls I almost dated in high school, I never did. Besides hooking up with a girl once while I was in early college, I never had a girlfriend until this year, sophomore year in college. I broke up with her after 4 months because it stressed me out and she texted me way too much. Without getting too specific, and because I only heard bits and pieces from friends, since I wasn't talking to her, it affected her pretty substantially. Also to my knowledge she didn't really date at all in high school, despite being a very pretty, smart, athletic, and genuinely sweet girl. She had one kind of relationship in senior year into freshman year of college to my knowledge with a dude who was a friend of mine. Based on how he talked about her he was probably a bigger asshole to her than I was. We did have some contact into high school, and one thing I always respected/appreciated was she was always extremely kind and friendly with me, even though I didn't really return the favor because I just felt too guilty to even look at her straight on. She was on student council and I was pretty notorious for having no knowledge of school events, so she would often text me making sure I knew when picture day was, yearbook stuff, important extracurricular stuff, etc. I would respond, but that was it. When we were in the same early college class she would unprompted send me her notes from class when I would skip. Frequently, genuinely she is one of the sweetest and kindest people I have ever met, and I just feel so guilty for blowing up our friendship over basically nothing. I was only 13, so I guess it makes sense I was immature, but all I needed to was have like the most basic communication skills and not shut her out completely. This brings us to present day, and I guess I just want to know if I should apologize at this point or not. It was so long ago it honestly seems stupid I even care about this, and we both go to different colleges hours away from each other, so we don't interact at all anymore. Our summer jobs are right next door, but because of how our shifts are the likelihood of us randomly bumping into each other are low. Hasn't happened yet. Also it's a very rural area, so right next door isn't like building to building. I'm not looking to necessarily rekindle the friendship or anything, just every time I think about her or see her car drive by I feel insanely ashamed. Part of me thinks it's better to just let it go, but the other part wants to get it off my chest.